Hello, students. So, this lesson should be a lot easier after proving triangles are similar. We're going to use a little bit of that today, but not a great detail. But it's just finding the missing side of two similar triangles. So this is just a short explanation of how to set them up. So on this triangle, remember we can't set up a proportion until we know that triangles are similar. So this first one right here, example number 1, they tell us triangle BRI is similar to triangle ONE. So they tell us it's similar. That means, okay, go ahead. We have the condition has been met. We have free pass to set up proportions. So I'm going to set up my proportion. I got to find x. X is side RI. X matches up with NE. So X and NE match up. So X and 12. So RI over NE is X over 12. And then I got to find two other sides. Well, I'm not going to use anything with a Y because then I've got two letters in it. We're going to stick to one letter. So I'm going to use the other sides that match up. X, and then I've got 24 over here. 24 is BR. Side BR matches up with ON. So BR is 24, ON is 15. So now that I have this set up, I can cross multiply and solve. You can do it the cross multiplying way. You can do the scale factor way if you wish. It's kind of up to you. So this is how we set it up. If I would cross multiply, I would get 15 times x is equal to 24 times 12. And then I'm going to use my calculator here. Let's see here. 24 times 12, 288. So 15x is 288. Divide both sides by 15. And we'll get x is 19.2. Okay, if I want to use a scale factor way, I would say, okay, well, what's 15 divided by 12? That's 1.25. So that means 1.25, 12 times 1.25 is 15. So let's go backwards here. 24 divided by 1.25 is 19.2. So I'm going backwards this way, divide by 1.25, and I get 19.2. Same thing. All right, to do the other side. Again, I'm just going to find what sides correspond. I'm going to use, again, 15 and 24. I'm going to do it the other way this time. 15 on top, 24 on the bottom. Because NO matches up with RB. NO matches up with RB. 15 over 24, that matches up with OE and IB is equal to Y over 20. So, again, I could use scale factor if I want to. Another way I can do this, though, is the cross multiplying. Or I can just say, you know what? If this were just y divided by 20, what would I do to both sides? I'd multiply by 20. And those would cancel out. So y is equal to 15 times 20, all divided by 24. And so we use our calculator. 15 times 20 divided by 24, and we get 12.5. There we go. That's all we need. Now we can only do this because we know the triangles are, in fact, similar. Let's go in, coming over to problem number 2, though. Okay, so on this problem right here, it does not tell us the triangles are similar, so we don't know technically if we can actually set up a proportion yet or not. However, they do tell us that one pair of angles are congruent. Those right angles are congruent. And these two lines are parallel. Well, it just so happens If these lines are parallel, you might remember, maybe you don't, those are called corresponding angles. The corresponding angles here are congruent if the lines are parallel. So that means I've got one pair of angles congruent, two pairs of angles congruent. So therefore, the triangles are going to be similar. So I can say triangle SHA is similar to triangle D, match up S, DOW by angle similarity. Those are corresponding. Now that only works though if we know the lines are parallel. So now that I've got that, I can set up a proportion. This one's a whole lot easier. It's pretty clear what two sides are going to correspond. X over 75 and then 480 over 100. Now, this is not the only way to set it up though. I could also set it up 75 over 100 is also equal to x over 480. Either way, we're still going to cross multiply and solve it. Okay, so if I do some cross multiplying, no matter how I do it, I'm going to get 100x is equal to 480 times 75. $480 times 75, and that is 36,000. Divide both sides by 100. 36,000 divided by 100. It's going to be 360. 360. And let's check ourselves. 360 divided by 480. That's 0.75. If I do 75 divided by 100, that is also 0.75. So that's how I know that they've got the same proportion and we're all worked out okay. It's all worked out okay. So the x is 360 here. All right, on to the next one here. Problem number 3, also again, I'm going to find x and y. They don't tell me that triangles are similar. So I don't know if I can use proportions yet. So let's check. Are they similar? Well, I've got one pair of angles congruent right here. Angle I is congruent to angle D. That's given. That's great. And you'll notice I've got this triangle right here and this big triangle right here. They're both sharing the angle V. Well, angle V's got to be congruent to itself. That's a reflexive property. So, triangle CVD is similar to triangle OVI by angle similarity. This is why we love angle similarity so much. All right, so now I've got to set up my proportions. Well, let's see here. Let's set it up to figure out x first. Okay, x on this triangle goes with I'm going to call it the top side. Top of the small triangle is x. This whole side of the big triangle, so the top of the big triangle, is, you gotta be careful here, don't say it's 3.5, that's not correct. It's gonna be x plus 8.5. If this were 4, this whole side then would be 4 plus 3.5 or 7.5. So I'm gonna set up x plus 3.5. And then now over here, I've got 8 is the bottom of the small triangle. Then the whole bottom of the small triangle would be 10. Okay, so now I've got to set up here. Bottom of large triangle. So now I'm going to cross multiply. 10 times x, and then 8 times x plus 3.5. So got to distribute this. 10x is equal to 8x plus, I believe that's going to be 28. Then we just got a nice algebra problem. Subtract 8x from both sides. You get 2x is 28. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to be 14. Now, the reason we have to use the whole side right here is because we're talking about similar triangles. We got to do the same thing here. I can't set up 8 over 2 is equal to 11 over y, because 2 is not the whole bottom of this triangle. I got to set up 8 over 10 is equal to 11 over y. And then I'm just going to cross multiply. 8y is equal to 110. Get out my calculator. 110 divided by 8. And I get y is equal to 13.75. All right. And this last one right here. Fold this so you can see everything. This last problem right here. So on this last problem, again, they don't tell us if the triangles are congruent, are similar, not congruent. So we need to check, are they similar? If they're not similar, we can't set up a proportion. Well, fortunately, I've got one pair of angles right here that have to be congruent by vertical angles. So I'm going to do a little side problem over here. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 by vertical angles. These lines are parallel. That's fantastic, because then I know if those lines are parallel, the alternate interior angles are also congruent. Angle V is congruent to angle S by alternate interior angles. So triangle VIR, similar to triangle. Now we gotta be careful here. V matches up with S. I matches up with U, and R still matches up with R. So those triangles are similar by angle similarity, QED, and we're done with that. Great. Now we can actually get to down to the business of setting up the proportions. VI matches up with SU. VI matches up with S. Oh, did I mess up here? VIR. Then SUR. Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. VI right here matches up with US. So VI matches up with US, and I also know IR matches up with UR. Well, let's see here. IR is 21, UR is 28. VI is 33, US is Y. Cross multiply, 21y is equal to 33 times 28. I don't know what that number is. I could do it. I'll do it later. We'll divide both sides by 21, and let's figure it out. So 33 times 28 divided by 21, 44. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, from here, you might say, hey, there's a nice pattern here. I can just divide this by 3 and multiply by 4 to figure out this side. Same thing there. 21 divided by 3 is 7, times 4 is 28. Well, we can do that over here too if we want to. Or we can just set up a proportion. X, V, R matches up with SR. Let's see here, VR. Let me get a different color. Is X. SR is 24. And we're going to use the sides that we know again, though. 21 over 28. And then we just got to cross multiply. So 28 times X is equal to 21 times 24. Divide both sides by 28. And let's see how we're doing here. (21 times 24 divided by 28, 18. So X is 18, Y is 44. There you have it. That's 4 of the most common ways that you might have to solve for missing side on similar triangles. Good luck.